Hey guys, thanks for joining me tonight. My name is Mark, and this is Spiguyver Backpacking. I'm glad that you're here with me. Tonight we're going to have a little bit of a talk and just kind of go through kind of what's coming up, what's going on, things that I've got planned, the next giveaway that we've got on the books, and then, I put out the little query if anybody had any questions for me. So I got a few questions. I just put that up this afternoon. Got some questions already, so we're just going to go through them today. So first, let's talk about the upcoming giveaway. We're not too far away from hitting 1,000. And so I wasn't sure if I was going to do one or not. And so I threw it out there. Does anybody really want this? And I actually got quite a few people telling me that, yeah, they really did. Messages, tweets, emails. So I decided, all right, how do I want to do this? And I came up with, well, I'm in South Carolina. We've got a great group in South Carolina. The Palmetto State Hangers are there. And there are quite a few small little vendors in the state of South Carolina. So I decided on this one, I was going to represent the state that I'm living in right now, South Carolina, and go with an all South Carolina giveaway. So everything that I'm going to be giving away in this one is going to be coming from South Carolina vendors. Now, I don't know everything that's coming yet, but I will tell you this is going to be the coolest one yet. I will tell you this is going to far exceed. If you combine the 100 and the 500 together, it doesn't even come close to what we're doing here. And we're going to look at, how do we really want to do it? Do we want to do multiple giveaways, one big giveaway? I think as the gifts come in, as the prizes come in, we'll take a look at that. But really cool stuff, and this is a big one. So if you haven't subscribed yet, down below, find that subscribe button. You may want to subscribe now so that you can get in on this. Not sure on the details yet, what we're going to be doing, how we're going to be doing it, but those details will come soon. Once I get everything kind of lined up and know what we're giving away, we'll get it all figured out. But this one's going to be probably a little bit different because it is such a more involved, bigger giveaway. I think we're going to have to do something a little different with how we do it. So that's what's coming with that. Next, I wanted to tell you guys about some of the upcoming trips and reviews that I've got. So I mentioned that I've got a review with an underground quilts tarp. So I've got a hex hanger, 11 foot wide tarp, custom tarp that they made for me. It arrived yesterday. It was in the mailbox. I was on the plane, so I had my wife grab it. So I've got that. It's going to be going out. I'm going to be going out on a trip this weekend, back to the Palmetto Trail. I know that on my last Palmetto Trail video I said I wouldn't be going back there, but I'm going back to a section that I've done before. It's a close section. It's the Swamp Fox section, and what that allows me to do is get out there relatively quick. Hour and a half drive to get out there, be able to do a couple of nights. And really, I decided on this one because someone asked if anyone was willing to go with them. So I decided I wanted to jump in on this. I think I'm going to try and get at least one of my boys, if not two of my boys, out there with me on this one. So we'll go out and have fun, hang up some hammocks, and test some gear. So we've got that coming up. Also, it looks like Beekeeper and I are thinking about looking at and starting to plan a Foothills Trail hike. It won't be a full through hike. I believe it's 76 miles to do the full trail. We're looking at probably 3 to 4 days and hitting, 40, 50 miles. Just a nice leisurely trip. Probably getting some of our kids out there with us and just enjoying it. Enjoying the company of a good friend and getting out and seeing some good trails. So we're looking at which sections of the Foothills Trail we want to hit, where would be good pickup, drop-off points, and that type of thing. Then I still am trying to figure out a time to take Justin, from the one video that we did where we said if we got 90 likes, he'd go with me. We decided he wanted to go up to the Greyson Highlands, up through Mount Rogers, and see the wild ponies up there, and just hike along the Appalachian Trail. He wanted to do something I haven't done before. That's something I haven't done before, so that's probably where we're going to be heading. And then I have one more trip that we've been talking about, and that is a Laurel Highlands in Pennsylvania. And that would be meeting up with Frozen from Outdoor Adventures and doing a trip with him. I believe it's a 70 mile, I think it's 3 days, 70 miles or something like that we were looking at doing, or 3 days, 60 miles. I'd have to look it up. He's got a few videos up there. I'll go ahead and post one up here, throw the link up so you guys can check it out and see what it is we're thinking about doing. He's got a couple of them up there, but one of them is the time frame and distance that we were looking at through hiking that. So now, I put out the request for questions, and I got quite a few. We'll go through them. I got some of them here on my computer. I've copied them and pasted them in. I've got a couple written down on paper over here. So the first one, and this is one that I actually brought up on the very first backpacking video that I did on the Adirondacks video. I was sitting in the hammock one night and mentioned trail names. So a lot of us out there have trail names. We've got different names that we go by. You know, we went down to HangCon and everyone had their name tags and it was their forum name. And mine was kind of confusing because at the time I was Backpacker Man, but everything I do on this channel and my hiking name is Spiguyver. So I call myself Spiguyver on here from time to time. People know me as Spiguyver, but then I've got a name tag that says Backpacker Man. So it was a little bit confusing, so I've gone ahead and actually changed that so that my name on Hammock Forums is now also Spiguyver. No more confusion there. But I mentioned that, you know, people come up with them and they earn them, and I said that at a later time we would discuss it. Well, I've been asked a few times now, where did Spiguyver come from? So, Spiguyver. Spiguyver actually started as Spider. Back when I was going to school, I used to do a lot of rock climbing. I actually did some instructing on rock climbing, and so I got the nickname Spider, and that kind of stuck with me for a while. And I was using that on I believe we did, Jeremy and I, or Sherpa Man, did 10 days along the Appalachian Trail. We did a hike. It was called Hike for Hope. It was the entire section of Shenandoah National Park in Virginia. And we did it to raise money for diabetes. Diabetes is something that's affected my family and still is affecting my family quite, it's got quite a big impact right now. Earlier this year, my wife was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So, you know, still something that's with me all the time, and I'm glad that I went out and was able to raise money for a very worthwhile foundation. So, Spider. We get out on the trail, and we were a couple days into it, and there was a canister stove malfunction, and I went behind the shelter, grabbed some twigs, shoved them inside of the canister, got it back together, and was able to get everything functioning so it wasn't leaking. There wasn't liquid butane propane mix coming out. There was it seemed to be semi-safe at least, but we still cooked behind the shelter. And so from then on, it kind of got morphed. You know, the MacGyver fact of me going and doing that to try and repair something out on the trail along with Spider. They got shoved together and it became Spiguyver. So that's where that one came from. Now there's a lot more that goes along with the trail names, and you know, for some people a trail name becomes their trail name and it sticks forever. I've had other trail names thrown at me and they may have stuck for a little while but never really stuck, and it always kind of comes back to Spiguyver. So that's what I'll be. Even if I attempt a through hike at some point, it'll be Spiguyver because I earned that one on the trail, and it's a fitting name. So another question that comes up is, who is Spiguyver? Well, I am Spiguyver, of course. So I don't think that's really what the question means, but the question is, you know, who am I as far as, you know, what do I do? What am I into? Those types of things. Well, I'm married. I've got 3 boys. As I've already said, I live in South Carolina. was an Air Force pilot. Well, I joined the Air Force, enlisted, was a crew chief, turned wrenches on big old planes, and then got to become an instructor doing that, and then swapped over and became a pilot. Flew for quite a few years, and then within the last 5-6 years, left the Air Force, and now working as a defense contractor, doing simulation, doing flight simulators, program manager, doing that kind of stuff. And on the side, I've been a cycling coach. At one point, I was a professional mountain biker, and then got my certificates and made it up to the highest level of coaching certificate there is through USA Cycling. I've taught at the Olympic Training Center. I've worked with disabled veterans, and really I've had a great run with the coaching thing. I've helped several junior athletes to national championships, and I've kind of taken a break from that for now. My day job, and then getting out and having fun, that's kind of taken the precedence, the priority now. My kids are doing sports, and it's important for me, my wife, to be involved and be there for the kids. So that's where my focus is right now. So the next question: in what order do I arrange my gear in my pack? So there was a question the other day I saw online, and it was, someone was talking about how they get to camp and all of a sudden everything's a mess and they can never figure out where their stuff is in their pack. I make sure that every time I load my pack, it's exactly the same. On this side, on my pouch, the pocket on the side is my cook kit. On this side is my water filter, and then I also throw some of the camera gear in there. But as I load my pack, if it's raining or I'm out on a longer trip, I will line the pack with a trash compactor bag. Then inside of the trash compactor bag, outside of stuff sacks, I do not use stuff sacks for either of my quilts. I do for my hammock, but not for my quilts. And so I will shove my quilts into the trash compactor bag. My pillow will go in there. My hammock, not the suspension, just the hammock, goes in. My clothes, all my spare clothes go in, and then I roll the trash compactor bag down, get all the air out of it, really compress it down. And then on top of that will go my tarp, my food bag, and then everything else pretty much will go in the outside pocket. So that's pretty much what I carry inside. Toilet kit, make sure that's on the outside because you don't have to fumble with getting stuff out. Any food that I'm eating for the day is usually on the outside. My suspension and my stakes all go on the outside. So that's pretty much how I do that. Next question is, what suspension am I using now, and is it my preferred? So since I've been using the Chameleon, I've been testing out the new straps and the beetle buckle system. However, that's not what I will take when I go backpacking, and it's not my preferred method. It is easy. Anybody who's used cinch buckles knows how easy those systems are, but it's a little bit heavier, and it does have a little bit of a fiddle factor there that I just haven't gotten completely used to. My preferred method is still the Kevlar tree huggers with the mule tape. Easy to use, very adjustable, and works well for me. And it's light. It's about the lightest setup out there right now. So that's my preferred, what I'm using. What's my favorite hiking shoes and socks? Well, I put up a video of my favorite hiking shoes. I'll go ahead and throw a link somewhere around here. You guys can find it. For my shoes, they are the Hoka 1-1 Stinson ATR. Currently they're Stinson 3, but they're the ATRs, the All Trail or whatever. But I love them. They've got the huge thick soles and really they're like walking on clouds. If you're interested in a new pair of shoes, go try some on. Don't take my word for it. Go to REI, go to someplace. Heck, if you don't have anywhere around, order them off of Zappos, free shipping back. If you don't like them, they're awesome. Now, I will say that they have many different models in their trail runners. The Stinsons are the only ones I've found that have a toe box that's big enough for me to comfortably hike in them. There's also the Challenger. A lot of people like those. But their speed ones, I haven't had any luck with. Socks. Okay, so I've now had 3 pairs of the Darn Tough, and I know that people absolutely love them and rave about them, and they're good socks. They're still not my favorite socks. The Smart Wools they've been my favorite for quite a while, and while the Darn Tough are nice, they don't match the comfort level for me of the Smart Wool. Difference though, the Smart Wool does seem to fall apart a whole lot faster than the Darn Tough, and the Darn Tough have the lifetime guarantee, so you can always send them back and get new ones when they do get ruined. Something you gotta think about. Next question is, do I strictly hike in synthetics? Yes. They wick better. They transfer heat better. So, yes. That's pretty much it. Now it's almost all base layer merino wool, underwear, shirt, merino wool. The merino wool keeps the stink down, dries quickly, will keep you insulated if it's wet. It's just there's a list of things that go on with the wool, and so that's what I've kind of gone to. Some of the other synthetics do hold the odor quite a bit, so that's something to think about. But yeah, pretty much everything I use is synthetic. What about sleepwear? Yes, again, synthetic. It's a I've got different layered systems that I use for different temperatures, but I always wear something full length, and it does a couple things. Number one, it's going to keep you a little bit warmer, block the wind from hitting your skin, and it also keeps your quilts and your hammock cleaner. Your skin's oils can really kill the loft of your quilts, and so they have to be laundered more often, which can lead to them breaking down quicker. So I go ahead and just use different layered systems. I've got a couple from Duofold. I think I've got a Capeline from Patagonia layer. But yeah, they're all either some type of they're all synthetic or wool. What about trekking poles? Do I always use trekking poles? Not at all, or sometimes. I always use trekking poles. Ever since I believe there was a trip to the Long Trail in Vermont that Sherpa Man and I did. I had them, he didn't. I believe that's the case. And I believe after that, he ended up getting some just because of, when you're in a loose, muddy, slippery place with lots of ups and downs, those things will save you. It makes hiking easier because now you're using your arms. Going uphill, you can actually use your arms, kind of propel yourself up. Going downhill, you can plant them and take some of the weight and stress off of your knees, the impact off of your knees. So I love them. I won't hike without them. Plus, they can be used for other things. So, if you're out and you don't have a place to set up, you can use your tarp and your poles to create an emergency shelter. You can use your poles to put your tarp in porch mode. There's lots of different things you can do there. You can use it to fend off wild animals. Wouldn't try that though. So I got a question from Barry about why am I in a hotel? And then he asked with a follow-up question, did Stacy kick you out? No, that's not the case. I'm actually in California on business right now. Like I said, I'm a contractor working with the Air Force, and so I'm out here at Edwards Air Force Base. So out here for some meetings and conferences. So the next question is, if you're using a Superfly like the one by Warbonnet with the doors, what are some of the different strategies for tying down the doors? Okay, so I've got a very similar tarp to the Warbonnet. It's not exactly the Warbonnet, but really any tarp with doors, you're going to have a similar setup. So you can take a look at the video I did on the Dutchware continuous ridgeline. That one has a little bit of my tarp door strategy. Another good one, since I've already mentioned him in this one, Frozen from Outdoor Adventures has his tarp door management system where he uses some clips, and those are really cool. A little bit more weight, but they seem to work really well. So that's a system that you could take a look at. I'll go ahead and leave a link to Frozen's so you can check that out. I currently have a static setup that's cumbersome to adjust, and I'm looking for more versatility or more versatile idea without needing to add more stakes if possible. So yeah, if you take a look at my system or even the one that Frozen did, we both connect the doors to the outside using either a loop on some shot cord or the little clips that Frozen was using, and you can get those online. I'm pretty sure he tells exactly where he got them, and I think it was a Warbonnet or maybe a hammock gear idea on how to manage those doors. So those are the questions that I've gotten so far, and if I get more and they seem like things that'll be good to go up on here, I'll think about adding them in. But for now, I think that's a good start. We've got a pretty good amount of time covered here, and a lot of good stuff coming up. We've just gotten started. We put up the first video on this in August and didn't hit 100 until November. Then in January we hit 500. So between November and January we climbed 400, and now so that was late, mid-January-ish, and now we're just in February and we're hitting 800. So I think by the end of February we will be at 1,000, which is a tremendous for me, for hammock, outdoor, backpacking related stuff. I think that's a tremendous growth, and it's all due to you guys tuning in, watching, leaving comments, leaving the feedback, asking me to do specific things, and to the vendors out there. We've got great vendors in this community. Really listen to our needs, listen to what it is we want. All of them are trying to be innovative, coming up with new things. We've got hammock-related shirts from Hot Hammock. We've got the hammocks actually evolving into new things. We've got space-age type materials out there with Cuban fiber, and really there's some talk of some even lighter materials than Cuban fiber that could be used. We steal things from the housing industry with Tyvek and using that and seeing what kind of things we can come up with there. Shapes of tarps kind of evolving a little bit. I saw some really cool ones out there when I was at HangCon. So, a lot of cool stuff going on with this industry. Hey, I just reviewed the Loco Libre quilt, and you saw the innovation that was there. The chevron baffle so that the down doesn't shift. The Carolina Reaper underquilt that he does has another similar type baffle thing. The Warbonnet Wookie, look at that. I mean, that's a complete departure from what we've seen on underquilts. Where we are with this industry right now, we've got a lot of great thinkers that are putting in some time and effort to evolve it and keep it moving in the right direction. And it's an exciting time, and I'm happy to have been accepted into this community, to be a part of it, and I look forward to quite a bit more with you guys. So guys, I appreciate you tuning in. If you've got more, keep it coming to me. Get out there and do it, guys. I'll see you down the trail. Thanks.